there, boys and girls. Welcome to Miss Etta's Academic Corner. It's great to see you again. How are you doing? How was school? How was your weekend? Yeah, I know I got a lot of questions. I just hope you had a great day at school. Do you remember what you learned? Did you learn anything about math, reading? What about science? What about history? What was the most important thing that you learned in school today? Whatever it is, remember to share it with your parents. Always try to remember to share at least one. Could be more than one, but at least one thing that you remembered about school today, every day, 5 days a week. So, it doesn't matter whether you're in school in what we call brick and mortar. Say it with me, brick and mortar, which is inside the building, or if you are e-learning, say it with me, e-learning, which is where you're on the internet. It also doesn't matter if you're homeschooled, you're still using the internet. So no matter how you go to school, whether you walk into the school or you go on the internet, remember each day to tell your parents or your caregiver what it is that you learned, the most important thing you learned for the day. So even when we're at Miss Etta's Academic Corner, when we get off, I want you to try to remember, what was the most important thing that I remember? So if there's a lesson or if there's a message, what was it? And so each time you get on, try to remember what the message is. Now, sometimes I might say to you, when you wake up in the morning or when you go to bed at night, remember to say this to yourself, things like that. So we have with us today, again, Mr. Teddy. He's always here. And we have Judah Sr., we have Judah, actually the third, because Judah Jr. is over there. And then we have Mr. Puma. And here is Judah Jr. How you doing, boys and girls? How was school? Do you have your milk and cookies? Are you in your pajamas? Whatever it is, it's okay. Why this lady got her hand around my neck? Okay, that's enough. Go back over there and sit down. This lady? Okay. So again, welcome to Ms. Etta's Academic Corner. What are we going to read today? We're going to read a story about a boy who had a big dream. What's a dream? That's when you wish something and you think that it might happen and you hope that it's going to happen, but then you've got to figure out how to make it happen. So, some of you might be dreaming of being an astronaut, going into space. Some of you might be dreaming of being a doctor, healing people. Some of you might be dreaming about being a lawyer, going into court for justice sake. Some of you might be dreaming about being a pastor, leading the flock. Some of you might be dreaming about being a minister. Whatever it is you're dreaming about, there's ways to make your dreams come true, right? Of course, we pray, and there are other things, but there's things that we must do in order to make our dreams come true. So this book today is a boy called CJ's. CJ, we're going to read about CJ's big dream. And it's a story by CJ Watson. So could it be about the author? The author's name is CJ Watson. And the story is CJ's Big Dream. So this is a softback book. Remember, we always check out the book. And we see this boy who we know is CJ, and he has a basketball in his hand, and he has on sports clothes, and then we see a basketball hoop in the background, and we see the colors green, white, black. What else do you see? See a little light brown or tan. Uh, we see black. I said black already. whatever other, that's about it. Not a lot of colors here, but we see CJ, and then we see these buildings over here, and we see fences, right? So we always take a look at the back. We're seeing the same picture, except CJ is not in this picture. And your parents more than likely will read the back. And it says, with his dreams set on the NBA. Whoa! CJ must now prepare for his biggest basketball game thus far. From pep talks to lucky socks, when the final buzzer sounds, CJ will find out if he can win the big game and get closer to his dreams once and for all. You ready? Let's crack this book open. Okay, so I have a correction, and this is what it helps us. Now, when we look in the front, sometimes people skip it. Let's not skip it. CJ's Big Dream, a story by CJ Watson, but it's written by Tamika Newhouse, illustrated by Cameron Wilson. This means the book is about CJ, but the actual writer is a lady named Tamika Newhouse. And what do we say the illustrator is? The illustrator is the person that draws the pictures, right? The author or the person it's written by is exactly that, the person who writes the book. And when we open it to the next page, there's a dedication. Sometimes books have dedications. And this book is dedicated to the little boy or little girl reading this book. So even though the character is a boy, we know that the author is letting us know this is not just about a boy. This can be about a little girl too with big dreams. So it's for all of us, boys and girls. You hear that, guys? May you find inspiration in this story to achieve your goals. Cue in Rocky theme song music. Well, we don't have Rocky theme song music. Da, 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 da. All right, that's enough of that. Now, the sun beams in through the blinds as CJ awakens. Today's the big day, he says as he climbs out of his bed. He glances over at his trophies that sits on his dresser and basketball posters on the wall and boasts, today I will get closer to my dream. Look at that. So when he wakes up, CJ is looking at a basketball hoop in his bedroom. I don't know how many of your parents are going to let you have one in your bedroom, but okay. His basketball on the floor, his trophies on the dresser, and pictures of different basketball players. Now, it's a good idea that if you have a dream you're trying to accomplish, that you put up things which they call visual, but it's things that you can see that can remind you of what it is. Let's say if you want to be a chef, or you want to have, or you want to be a baker, or you want to be a cook, or you want to work in a restaurant, or you want to own your own restaurant more than just working it. You want to own it. So what you would do is have your parents help you put up pictures that have famous chefs in it and stuff like that. Now, the reason why I'm saying to ask your parents, because you're not to put things on the wall without your parents' permission, because you don't want to destroy the wall. Now, your parents will go out and get something called masking tape. Say it with me, masking tape. Masking tape is a tape that you can put things on the wall and it won't take the paint off. So there is a tape. Don't use Scotch tape. Please don't. Please, please, please don't use Scotch tape. That's why you got to make sure you ask your parents, okay? After brushing his teeth, CJ gets dressed for school. Now that's important. Brush your teeth. Prepared for his day, he takes one last look in the mirror before grabbing his lucky socks off the floor. These will help me win today's big game for sure. His socks are worn and dingy with discoloration from being worn so many times. That does not matter to CJ, however, because each time he wears these socks, he wins the big game. Well, that's how CJ does it. But some of us, Instead of putting on something we call lucky, we pray. We pray before we go out. We pray before we do something because we know that's the way that gives us confidence that it's not just us, but we pray. Okay? So you and your parents have to decide which is the way you're going to do it or should do it. Ready for the big game? CJ mother asks. CJ beams with joy at his mama as she sits his breakfast down on the table in front of him. What does he get for breakfast? It's a big game. So you think it's cornflakes? Probably not. He's a growing boy. He's played a hard game. The smell of mama's blueberry pancake and eggs makes CJ very excited. Woo! You have on those stinky socks, his younger brother whines. These are my lucky socks, and they'll help me win today's big game. CJ replies before taking a bite of his pancakes. Ugh, that must make it very difficult to sit next to CJ while we eating blueberry pancakes, bacon, and eggs. Okay. I don't think your parents are going to let you put on stinky socks, but this is the book. His father hands him his book bag. Have a good day at school, son, and we'll see you later at the game. CJ hugs his father goodbye and starts his journey off to school with a stomach full of his mama's blueberry pancakes. He is confident that today will be a great day. That's CJ's dad handing him his book bag. So far and it's always good to stop and think. What did we read so far? We read that CJ has a mother and he has a father and he's got a younger brother. We read that CJ wakes up and he has different things around the room that reminds him of his goal, what it is that he's striving for, that he wants to be in the NBA. We know that CJ also wears these socks. But again, this is the book. So sometimes when we read a book, we don't always have to agree with the character in the book. This is just the book. But we can find something to substitute or place in place of so that it's in agreement with what our parents want us to know and to do. His father hands him his book bag. He says, "Have a great day." CJ hugs his father goodbye and starts his journey off to school with a stomach full of his mama's pancakes. He is confident that today will be a great day. Yes, I read it again because I gave you some information, so I want to make sure you follow in the book. On his way to his new school, CJ sees how bad his neighborhood looks. Abandoned buildings, old homes with uncut grass, and graffiti were everywhere. It makes CJ sad to see his neighborhood like that, but his thoughts about the big game make him feel hopeful about his day again. So that tells us everybody is not able to live in real nice neighborhoods. Sometimes people have to live where they can. And sometimes the neighborhood is a little run down. Sometimes it's a lot run down. But we have to do it what we can do it until we can do better. Arriving to but doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a good person. It's just where you live. Rather being a bad or good person is in your heart. Arriving to the school, CJ feels a comfort with the change of scenery. The sun seems brighter as it shines off the school's landscape. The green grass and the large building gives him a sense of newness. He sees some of his new friends come up to him. CJ, ready for today? It's gonna be a tough game, Tim asks. We're gonna win today's game. I have these on. He points to his obviously dingy socks, and his classmates seem confused. You go to school here with us now. I'll make sure you have some new socks for the game. Our star player has to look the best, Tim jokes. So that's Tim talking to CJ. And in the background, see the school building? It's a nice looking school. It's after school, and CJ walks into the gym, ready for warm ups, and he's excited. Ready to shoot some hoops. Coach Madison calls out to CJ as he walks into the gym. Ready as I'll ever be, coach. Coach Madison throws CJ a basketball and yells out, shoot! CJ standing in the middle of the gym, far away from the basket. You want me to shoot from here? He asks, uncertain if he can make it. Yes, trust your hands, CJ. He focuses on the basket and shoots the ball, but misses. No! Feeling ashamed, CJ stomps his feet. Come on, Lucky Socks. You have to help me win. Coach calls out to CJ. Don't think about how far the basket is. Just show me how strong those arms are. Focus on your strength. So CJ is focusing on the socks, but his coach is telling him to focus on his strength. Focus on his strength. And the strength comes from within. So CJ's focusing on something that's outer, which is the socks. And the coach is saying, focus on your strength, which is within. CJ grips the ball tightly and bends his knees to shoot the ball. I can make it, just focus, he tells himself. Digging the tips of his toes into the bottom of his shoes, he gives off a huge jump, extends his arm, and pushes the ball out of his hands into the air. Off it goes, flying into the sky and headed towards the magical square on the backboard. See that, guys? So do you think CJ gets the basket? I don't know. Let's turn the page and see. It's game time. CJ has the ball and is dribbling down the court. You can hear his family cheering for him from the stands. Go CJ, go CJ, go CJ, go. Go CJ, go CJ, go CJ, go. Go CJ, go CJ, go CJ, go. He dribbles to the left and then he dribbles quickly to the right. The other player stumbles and falls. Seeing an opening, CJ zooms past the other team and he begins to hear his coach voice in his head. Don't think about how far the basket is. Just show me how powerful those arms are. Focus on your strength. With all of his power, he throws his arms in the air and releases the ball in the air. The crowd cheers. Go, go, go! CJ cheers, never taking his eyes off the basketball. Swoosh! And the home team wins! The referee roars. We won! CJ leaps in the air excitedly. You did it, son! CJ dad runs up to him and hugs him tightly. You're on your way to living out your dreams, son. I just have to keep working hard, said CJ. You're right, son. But for now, celebrate your win. He pats him on his shoulder and smiles proudly. Thanks, Dad. CJ feels proud of himself. He looks down at his lucky socks and whispers, We did it. Did CJ socks really do it? Nah. CJ focused on his strength. He also focused on what his coach told him to keep his focus. So, whatever your dreams are, you have to focus on them. Now that the game is over, what shall we do now, son? His father asked. Holding the trophy in his hand, CJ shouts, I'm going to win the next game and the next game and then the very next game, Dad. I'll keep winning until I get to the NBA. Is that right? That's right, CJ says, reassuring his dad. Dreaming big, aren't you? This is only the beginning, Dad. I have big dreams, he says as they walk off the court. Until the next game. It's good to dream big. Dream outside the box. And that's the end of this book. Focus on your strength, boys and girls. Focus on what's within you. You don't have to use anything that people might call magical or lucky. You focus on your strengths within. You practice. You keep practicing. You keep striving. You keep thinking about what it is that you want to do, what it is your goals are, what are your dreams. And if you don't know what they are yet, talk to your parents. They'll help you. You guys, if you have any dreams you want to share, I want you to send me an email to Miss Etta's Academic Corner, and we'll share it with the boys and girls next week. So again, thank you for joining us. Have a good night. Dream big.